Yo, what's going on guys, it's Kryptic TNG and I'm back again with another AOR race. This time it's race 7 of season 7 in the GT3 Elite Championship, Nurburgring GP. And yeah, last time out I managed to get a podium on the last lap, and this time out I was very much hoping for another podium. I thought with it being such a strong track for the turbos that CJ would probably run away with this one, and in practice he was just on a complete different level. The Bentley's so fast around here, and yeah, for us it was more trying to make sure we get them other places on the podium, trying to fight back in the championship for what it's worth. But yeah, let's see what the race brings. It was definitely a very interesting race, an unbelievable race, and yeah, let's get to the qualifying lap. So as you can see, again, it wasn't the best qualifying lap for me. Messed up the chicane at the end, rubbish first sector, but still managed to get third in the grid, so it wasn't the end of the world behind our teammate. And yeah, it was all about just trying to get a good start. I think we had decent race pace. We knew we could have locked out the podium before the race started if we could just get a good start. So yeah, coming towards the end of the formation lap now, and it was crucial with Manuel behind me, how fast the Audi's down the straight. It was crucial to try and at least stick in the position I was in, or possibly gain a position on our teammate. CJ was so fast, we knew pretty much he would just be gone at the start of this race. So yeah, don't know what Carl was doing on the left hand side there. It kind of messed up the whole start procedure, because I wanted to go, and then yeah, we ran it to the line, and you can see Manuel straight away blitzes past me, goes straight past Carl, and yeah, it was a nightmare start for me, because once you're behind someone in an Audi, even if you are quicker, you're not going to do anything. But you see, we get rear-ended there quite hard, and I was thinking, I hope this doesn't damage my car. But as soon as I turned the wheel, I could feel the car was just understeering, sliding through corners, and I just knew that I had received a little bit of damage from that. And you'll see when I go through, not this right-hander, but the next left-hander, you see the car just pretty much just slides through the corner, and it was pretty much a nightmare scenario, because you need rear end grip, you need rear end traction on this track, and you can see car just sliding, doesn't want to go anywhere near the apex, and I could tell it was going to be a long race from here. And you know, it was probably possible for a no stopper, but when I tried it in practice, when the tires went away, the back end would be sliding, and yeah, I just wanted to be able to just push. So I was really thinking of pitting, but now I knew I'd probably end up having to pit slightly earlier because of the damage. And yeah, really just trying to, I was just trying to stay with the front leading group as much as I could. So by the time we got to the pit stops, if I had to pit early, then I could possibly manage to jump her through. But you can see I can't even make the apexes without the back end sliding at the minute. And our teammates all over Manuel all over CJ doing a bit of a job at the minute, just trying to control the pace of the race. I'm sure he had more pace in that car because in practice he was flying, but I know there was quite a lot of issues in this race. I'm not sure if it was because of the host or there was a lot of issues in this race, which you'll see later. A lot of invisible wall bugs and things like that. But I mean, yeah, it was crazy. We can see now the top 4 on the front straight, literally nose to tail. Manuel right behind CJ, Carl right behind Manuel, me right behind Carl. I get a run on Carl. You can see how fast the Audi and the Bentley are down the straight. It's so much more pace than in the straight line. But obviously what we lack in top speed, the BMW makes up a lot in the braking zones and in the fast corners. Not too many fast corners on this track, but in the braking zones, and it gets good traction out of the corners as well. But for me, I was just trying to make sure I could keep my car with the top 4, just while I was struggling with the rear end at that minute. You can see a lot of the time I'm really struggling to get it into the apex. That's because it would just slide. Every time I go to turn into a corner, it would just slide. You see it there again, just sliding. I couldn't make it into any apexes that were at sort of 3rd gear kind of thing. So yeah, it was a struggle. I don't know who it was who actually rear-ended me at the first corner, but it was a pretty hard hit. I was quite lucky not to get spun around. And yeah, fast forwarding again, you can see us still trying to keep up with the top 4. They're getting really close. Carl being pushed out a little bit by Manuel trying to get past CJ, trying to do everything he can, but the Bentley is so fast around here. It's so fast around here. This top speed, it's not even the top speed, it's just the power that it has. Because it's a high altitude track, the turbo engines don't lose any power compared to the other cars. You can see now Glenn Owls, who's CJ's teammate, he's behind us now. CJ outbrakes himself, goes straight off and loses 3 positions. So yeah, back up into a podium position, but we knew it wouldn't last too long. CJ was so fast, so pretty much I was trying not to battle. I was doing everything I could not to battle, just to try and keep it clean, try and keep my tyres in, try and stay with the top 4, because yeah, I mean, you can see they're actually getting away, and I mean, they're racing, holding each other up, and they're still getting away from me. There wasn't really much I could do. All I could do really was just brake even earlier for the corners, just to get the nose in, but was lacking pace. You can see it was almost like a train building up behind me at this point. So unfortunately it definitely wasn't the start I was looking for. And I mean, in practice at the start of races we were sort of lapping in the low 54s, and you'll see now I'm just nowhere near. I can't get anywhere near that pace at the minute. I was stuck in 56s, 55s, and yeah, I mean, I wish on Project Cars, the only thing I wish they probably would have changed is so you actually get a damage indicator and not have to use sort of the P-Cars Dash app, which I have, and just, yeah, so you can see what part of your car is struggling, because I knew it was the rear end, but you don't know what percentage or how bad the damage is. But just looking there, seeing how fast that Audi is down the straight, how much it pulled out on Carl, and then Carl closes up again on the braking, and yeah, it was one of the races to and fro. Is a lot of every time you get to a corner you close up, and then the car gets in the power before you, so the gap opens up again. And yeah, now I see CJ coming in my mirror. I don't even try and fight it, because the speed difference is just ridiculous, and at this point where I've got damage, I just want to stay with the leading trio. So I know the best way for me to do that is not to get in any battles, just to keep it as calm as possible, and just try and stick with him, try and stick in the slipstream. But really struggling to get the front end in, and it was, to be honest, it was quite frustrating, because I knew I had decent pace. And you see, for that left-hander, I don't think I hit the apex once for that corner in the first part of the race. It was a real struggle, but yeah, all I could do really was keep on. But now I've got Telmo behind me, which was a bit scary, because I know the rough is actually quite fast down the straights, and it's got great traction. And going on to lap 6, CJ runs a bit wide. You see he actually gets a 5-second corner cut penalty, so we're back past CJ again. But yeah, I mean, it was almost pointless for me to hold him up at this point, because it was just slowing me down. And already you could see I was starting to lose touch. And the lap times weren't even fast. It was just that I didn't have any turning. And I just felt like if I tried to push it too hard through some of the corners, that I just would have ended up spinning because the back end was going so light. But you can see the pace I was doing was really slow, and the fact that I was still falling away, I just knew that I had at least a decent amount of damage. And I don't know if you just saw that, but it was like a little invisible bump I went past on that last corner. Just threw my car off a bit, and it was very weird, very weird. There was some weird things happening in this race in terms of bugs and stuff like that. And even just before the race in the practice lobby, I actually got flipped on my roof, and yeah, coming out of, I think it was going into turn 3, I got flipped on my roof. I was thinking, what's going on there? And yeah, I mean, it's crazy sometimes, but yeah, we're still behind CJ. I think CJ's fallen off in the back of that group in front. Don't know whether he made a mistake. Well, yeah, he did. He got a 5-second penalty, so he's having to push on again to catch back up, which I'm sure he will do quite easily, because his pace was insane. The guy was getting like low 53s in practice, full fuel, no problem. He was getting times on race fuel that we couldn't even do in quali. So yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, you see Carl still hounding Manuel, but they really have gapped me at the minute. That's quite a substantial gap. They're probably about 4 or 5 seconds down the road at this point. And yeah, for me it was just frustrating. And CJ, I think he actually ran into an invisible wall that knocked his fuel all the way back up and knocked his alignment of his wheel. So his steering rack had completely changed, and it had given him the force feedback bug. So he was really struggling now, and in a race where he's racing for the championship, in a race where really probably say in a race that he probably should have had in the bag, he was starting to struggle now, and you can see that he's falling back and he's struggling. You see him weaving his car to try and figure out how he can fix it. And yeah, it's just unfortunate for him, but obviously for us this is potentially another position that I could take. And I think Carl and Manuel actually had contact. I think Carl went into the back of Manuel, and that's why he's closed back up to them again. So it was raced back on, and Telmo, the guy who won Laguna Seca with an outrageous no pit stop strategy, was behind me. And I was starting to think that's a bit of a danger as well, because I know how good the rough is on his tyres, and I know how good Telmo is on these tyres. So yeah, I was thinking if Telmo's no stopping, it's a pretty big gap I'm going to have to make up if I'm to catch him back. And yeah, at this point he could have possibly even passed me, because he was right behind me. So for me, I was just thinking there's not really a lot I can do to improve my pace. All I could do is just try and maximize what I can do with the damage, and that's what I tried to do. But you can see now, just understeering like a pig. It was terrible, the handling in the car at that point. So yeah, I was just trying to at least stick within 4 or 5 seconds of the cars in front. You can see CJ just pulls off because the force feedback bug's just that bad that he just couldn't carry on. So that's us up into 3rd place. And yeah, managed to keep Telmo behind me, just keep trying to do like low 55s, even though it's about a second off of where we were in practice. But so frustrating, really frustrating, because I felt I could have stayed with the front guys if I didn't have this damage. You can see Carl still all over Manuel at this point. Managed to get into the 54s, and yeah, that's pretty much as fast as that. But yeah, lap 14 we just decided just to pit early. There's nothing more. I couldn't catch them. I couldn't close them down. So I just pitted early and thought, what's the worst that can happen? Even if I come out of the pits, car fixed, I can just hang on to the tyres and see how much time I can close back up. But obviously, pitting early, bad thing about pitting early is you're gonna come out in traffic. And I managed to catch up to the 2 roughs. I think it was Pidgey and Marty NVR. So I managed to catch back up to them after the pit stops. And yeah, I was just thinking, how am I going to get past? The only bad thing about the Z4 is even when you're quicker, you really do have to get it done in a braking zone. But luckily for me, Pidgey actually moved out of my way, let me through thanks for that one. Yeah, he didn't bother battle. I'm not sure if he had damage or what the situation was, but he just lets me through. And then catching up to Marty, it was literally just I was trying to make up as much time as I could, and you can see now we can hold that corner, hold the apex so much better in that corner, and it just made a massive difference. It was sometimes I just pit just to drive the car in its normal state. I'm not one of them people that will drive around with damage for too long, because it just annoys me. I'd rather just pit, even if it means I lose positions. I prefer to drive the car in its normal state than drive the car where it's just not handling well. But yeah, you can see we get past Marty at the Dunlop hairpin, and then now it's just push on as hard as we can, try and make up some time to the leaders, because I'm sure they probably wouldn't be pitting till lap 20 or thereafter. So yeah, that's pretty much all we could do. Just keep pushing, keep going, see how much pace we could recover in this race, and catch back up to another Z4. I think this was one of the newcomers. I think he was a reserve driver, and now he's a full-time driver in 5th place, not doing too badly in the Z4. So yeah, decent race there for Danny, and yeah, for me, I was just thinking I just need to get past him. I hope he doesn't resist me too hard. Obviously he's welcome to fight for position and stuff like that, but I've already made a pit stop, and I was just so focused on chasing down the gap I had in front of me. But obviously while you're stuck in a bit of traffic, you can't, you know, unleash all of the pace you have. And to be honest, I felt like my whole rhythm had just been thrown off. I just wasn't in the same sort of, I don't know, I wasn't as comfortable as I was in practice, not even close. So yeah, managed to drive down the inside, doesn't fight me too hard. And yeah, I think up next is Young O Dave. Well, I don't know why I call him Young O Dave. His name's Young Dave. Yeah, next up was Young Dave and the Bentley, which I was thinking, oh god, I'm going to struggle to get past the Bentley around here. It's just too fast down the straights. So yeah, coming up to the end of the lap, you see I've closed right into the back of him now. And I'm thinking that I'm just going to have to go for a late braking manoeuvre at turn 1, but he actually pulls into the pit lane, which puts us back where we were before, back up into 3rd place, and Carl was like 39 seconds down the road at this point. So yeah, it was just like try and keep pace, try and make sure I'm closing the gap. But for some reason, I don't know what it was, it just seemed like there was like I don't know, on project cars it happens sometimes. I don't know for people that play project cars, but sometimes you'll be in one lobby and you've got a certain amount of grip, and then you go in another lobby and you just lose. The grip just doesn't feel the same, even though the settings are the same. It's very weird, I don't know, but I was very cautious into turn 1. I even ended up on my setup for the car, I ended up actually adding another click of rear wing because the car was sliding around so much more than it was when I was practicing. It was very weird. So yeah, it was, I don't know, it definitely was it felt like there was a lot less grip than there was when I practiced, even though the settings were exactly the same. But yeah, you see Carl's come out the pit lane and he's sort of 2.5 seconds in front of us. So in all that period we haven't really gained, well, we gained quite, maybe about a second and a half, but we didn't actually pull back that much time. So yeah, we're still pretty much net 3rd position. I'm sure if Manuel was to pit now, he'd probably come out either just in front of Carl or just behind Carl, so we'd still be in 3rd position. Only difference, Carl would be ahead. So yeah, with 20 laps to go, it was just try and get your head down, try and stay the teammate, even though obviously we pitted about 4 laps earlier, 4 or 5 laps earlier. But see, Carl there has got great pace. We're sort of lapping in low 54s in a minute, just trying to make sure when Manuel pits, because he stayed out for so long, when he pits that we actually get in front of him. So you can see Carl hits an invisible wall. We then clip Carl as we drive past. To be honest, I don't know if we got any damage. If we did get damage, I think it would be very minor, maybe only cost you a couple of attempts for a lap or something like that. But we actually clipped him as he hits an invisible wall. And I can tell you, someone who's raced with Carl pretty much since this game's come out, I've never seen Carl hit an invisible wall. I used to get invisible wall bugs pretty much every single time I used to play the game, but he never really gets any bugs. I've never seen him get an invisible wall bug until the race. So very weird, very peculiar. And I think there's a few other people that said they they hit a few bugs and people were traveling sideways in their screen and stuff like that. I don't know what's happened, but Carl behind us actually hits another invisible wall bug. That's why he's fallen so far behind. And yeah, you can see by lap 31, Manuel still hasn't pitted, and he's like 29 seconds in front of me. And I'm thinking at this point, he's in an Audi, which is notoriously bad on his tyres. He's not pitting. His pace is not dropping off extensively. He's not sort of 3-4 seconds off the pace. So I'm starting to get worried here, because it's lap 33. He's got a 24-second gap, and I mean, simple maths tells you if I'm not gaining at least 3 or 4 seconds a lap, then I'm not going to catch him. So I was thinking, there's no way he's going to get to the end. There's no way. And I think by the time I got to, you know, sort of lap 35, lap 36, I'm thinking he's not going to stop. He's still got 20-second lead. He's not going to stop. It's only like 6-7 laps to go. He's not going to stop. And yeah, you can see him on the mini map. He's well ahead of us. So yeah, I was gutted. I mean, I kept getting the gap down, but he was managing it pretty well. His first sectors were just within 2 tenths of what I was able to do. So, and even my tyres, even though I had pitted, my tyres were down to halfway, and I could feel the wear. I could feel the sliding about. And I mean, different cars react differently to low tyre wear. Some of them don't slide about as much, and others are completely just like you're driving on ice. So yeah, you can see lap 39, about to go into lap 40. The gap's down to under 10 seconds now, but yeah, he's going to have to be losing 5 seconds a lap for me to even catch him at this point. So I was debating with myself, how has he managed to stay out for so long and not have a massive tyre drop off. You can see now as we go into the last lap, he's still leading, got about 6 seconds in his pocket, and it's like, wow. Could not believe he did it. I could not believe he stayed out in that Audi and didn't pit. And yeah, I mean, I was wishing now, I was really wishing I didn't have that contact on the first corner, because at least if I had been able to stay right with him for the first stint of the race and pit in a normal way and have my regular pace, then I probably would have been a few seconds further down the road at this point and been able to put him under pressure. And I mean, once your tyres are gone, there's not much you can do to defend in braking zones. I mean, he'd still have the power down the straight, but in the braking zones I'll be able to gain massive amount of time. So yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, but also definitely unfortunate for my teammate, because he was obviously in front of us and he would have been the first person to pick up the, you know, to pick up the car in front of us. So unfortunate for Carl. He had good pace around here as well. Obviously CJ hitting in invisible walls and bumps, and I think there's a few other people as well. So very weird one, very weird, but I mean, it happens, man. I used to literally, if you go back and watch my AOR races from, I don't know, was it season 3, I was hitting invisible walls every single week. Every week I was hitting invisible walls. So yeah, it's not surprising. Well, it's a bit of a surprise and I didn't hit one, but you can see now, end of the race, we've managed to close up pretty much as close as we can, but by this time Manuel's taking it easy, and I believe he was behind, he was about to lap one of the roughs, which was Marty, and Marty hit an invisible wall right in front of Manuel, and Manuel smashed into the back of Marty, so even he was affected by it indirectly. So crazy race. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? I can't be too displeased with second place, but yeah, I'll have to catch you guys on the next one, and I'm going to leave the results up for you guys as normal, and I hope to have a much better race in the next one, which I think what's the next track? Yeah, I'll show you the next track in the calendar. And yeah, hopefully that Silverstone we can really we can really turn up. That's pretty much a good track for us anyway. But yeah, I mean, crazy race, but yeah, Manuel looking really strong in the championship, as you can see. And yeah, he's always been there whenever anyone's messed up. He's always been there, pretty consistent. So it's going to be really tough now for anyone to catch Mama in the championship, but we can still just race and just do what we got to do on the day and see what happens at the end. But yeah, I'm Kryptic TMG. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Peace.